Okay. Good morning once again. Uh, I saw the message of Sharad sir is not taking the class now, so thought of taking the lab session now itself, so that we can wind up in the morning itself. Okay. So in the afternoon, I'll just tell you um, whether it is needed to attend the class or not. Okay. So if possible, we'll just take this particular program. We'll finish off this particular program in this session itself. Okay. So with 13 participants. So I'm seeing that only 38 to 40 participants will be participating in the class. I don't know where the rest of the 8 members are there. Is it so difficult for you guys to switch over from Zoom app to WebEx app? So many of them are, I don't know exactly what is happening. So class representative, after the class, you just, after finishing all your classes, you just call me. I just wanted to know what is happening over there. Okay, only 16 participants. Okay, I'll just brief you about this particular program. The program is very simple. We have awarded a some percentage with respect to each of the individual students or a particular participant who will be participating in one of the examination. So based on their particular percentage of the marks, I need to decide the grade. That's it. This program is called as absolute grading principle. Okay, absolute grading program. What is this absolute grading program is? I'll just give one particular percentage of marks. Depending on the percentage of the marks, you need to grade to certain extent, like A, B, C, or something like that. Okay, so with this note, I'll just start explaining what this particular program is all about. So one thing, two things we'll be just seeing with respect to this example. So one thing is how to execute or how to get this particular. Okay, and one more thing I just forgot to tell you. You need to solve this program with respect. You need to design a test case using your path testing principle. So absolute grading, you can write a program, very simple program. There is no complex uh, complexity exists in this particular type of program, but you need to do it. You need to design the test case based on your path testing. So we're just we'll just see one by one. Okay, so how to design this? What are all the things that I require? One particular two outputs I'm expecting. Sorry, one input. Based on that, one output. What is the input? What is the output? Input is the percentage. Output is the grade that he or she has achieved. Right. So with respect to that input, I need to design certain cases. What are all those particular cases now? So with respect to this, and also they have given that after deciding the grade, you need to greet that particular person with a message like excellent, very good, good, above average, satisfactory, or something like that. Getting this? Is this clear? So you need to design an absolute program. Absolute grade program depends on your input, that is your percentage marks. With respect to that percentage, I will be assigning some particular grade. With respect to the grade, one particular remark will be given it to the user or to the participant. That is excellent, very good, good, above average, satisfactory. Only 5 grades we have taken it. Okay, only 5 particular messages we will need to decide. So this is what the program is. So with respect to this, we need to write the program in JavaScript. That's what we have just done it so far. So we'll be going with the same particular language itself. What are all the things that I require? So two variables I need to have it. One is called as one is for holding the value of the percentage. The another one is holding the value of the grade or assigning the value for the grade. So with respect to now, as for now, I'm not going to initialize any values. Okay. So I'm just leaving that particular two things as blank. Fine. So I'm just declaring it. Next thing is I need to just take some particular input, right? So it can be decided by the input marks also, no problem. How many subjects that they have decided, you need to calculate that, followed by you need to calculate the percentage. Okay, so though that particular part I'm not going to concentrate much on it because that is a different scenario. After doing that, what is the next step? That is what I'm just taking it in this particular example. So what I have done is enter the percentage. I need to enter a particular percentage in order to get some particular input from the external or the standard inputs, standard input that is available as keyboard is nothing but we need to use the prompt as the window. So with respect to the prompt, I'm just entering that particular message, enter the percentage. Once the percentage is entered, I need to convert it that. So your percentage can be in terms of decimal points also. It is not necessary that always you need to get the percentage as 90 or 100 or something like that, right? So 99.99 is also a percentage that is also available with respect to your marks that you have obtained, right? So based on that particular scenario, you will be having the percentage value in terms of floating point number. So I need to convert that. Previously you were using number, right? So if you use number, it will always convert it to an integer type. So instead of that, I need to specifically convert it to a float type. So for that, one particular member function I'll be using, that is by the name called as parse float. Parse is nothing but parsing. Parsing is very simple to understand. You are converting from one type to another type. That's it. Understanding it? You're converting from one type to another type. What is the type that you are having it right now? It's a string type. From the string type, you are converting it to a floating point number. So for that, parse float is the one that we are targeting to. So with respect to this, you need to pass the parameter. The parameter is nothing but the variable that your value is holded in. So with respect to that, you need to just use this. Am I audible? Hello? Am I audible? Hello? Yes. So you got an idea, right? Why we are going with respect to this parse float. Parse float is nothing but you are converting it from one type to another. The type here we are targeting to is floating. Understanding it. Next thing is I need to check. So there is a small particular problem in this code. Hopefully we'll just try to analyze it once we see the output. Okay. So we'll just try to check it out during the output. Remember this. I'm telling you right from the beginning, whatever the code that I'm giving you, I'm just helping you out in designing the program. So you can redesign it with respect to the constraint that you are having it. Okay, I'll just tell you later what is the particular problem in this. If the percentage is greater than or equal to 90, then you need to assign the grade value as A. Now A will be holding the value as, sorry, grade is holding the value as A. What is this particular thing? It's a string variable. There is no character available in this particular JavaScript concept. You have only three predefined data types that is available. One is the number format. In the number format, two types you can have it. That is with respect to your integer or float or double. You can just go with it. The second part is with respect to your string. The last one is your Boolean. So three primitive data types we have. Predefined is primitive data types. Primitive is nothing but in every language this particular program, these particular things will be available. That's what primitive is all about. So with respect to that, we are just seeing it. So A within the single quote or double quote, it will be treated as a string type. Understanding it? Keep that in your head. There is no concept called as character data type here with respect to your JavaScript. With respect to JavaScript, I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the Java. I'm not talking about any high-level languages. I'm talking about the JavaScript. It's a client script language that is used right now in our particular program execution. So here, that's what they are just assigning the value. Else if percentage is greater than or equal to 80, that is 80 to 89. If you are getting the percentage, means 89.99 also will be considered. If you are getting this months, then the grade will be B. Else if percentage greater than or equal to 70 to 79, grade is C. 60 to 70, sorry, 60 to 69, grade is D. Else, whatever it comes below 60, till the 0 or minus also, if you get it, then it will be, grade will be assigned as E. Fine. I'm assigning the grade. I'm just switching over to the next particular statement. If any of this particular 5, 7, 9, 11 gets executed, or else, sorry, 12 also, if it gets executed, then it will be coming out of that particular area from the if statement, and it will be just going with respect to your switch case statement. So with respect to the switch case statement, it will be similar to whatever we have just assumed it with respect to our high level language. Okay, same cases you'll be having it. Advantage of using switch cases, among your particular so many choices, multiple choices, one choice you will be just choosing it accordingly. If it should traverse among all the particular things, here in one shot, one particular block itself, all the particular conditions, it will be just checking out which particular area it should belong to. So depending on that, it will be traversing to that particular area itself. How it will be done? Based on the case numbers that we'll be just giving it. Always, I'll be telling this most oftenly, which with respect to your switch cases, case numbers plays a vital role, not the names. If you are giving it with respect to your names, then use double quotes with respect to string type in the high level languages, as well as with respect to character type with respect to single quote. But here we are saying that string as well as character is one and the same. So that's why single quote or double quote, anything you can use it with respect to this. Understand it? Case A refers to the grade A. With respect to it, you need to display a message. How to display a message? Alert. Then you need to put a break over that. That means that statement is executed means you need to come out of that particular area. There is no nothing like you need to execute the next particular case also. Consecutive cases should not be executed. Any one should be executed. It is as good as saying selecting one option among multiple choices. Understanding it? As good as your working on a quiz. With respect to the quiz, you are choosing one option as a correct one. Remaining all, you cannot choose it. Any one, you can choose it. That's what it says with respect to your switch. Whereas if else, if this condition fails, it need to check for the second one. It need to go. It need to traverse among all the particular cases, and then it will be providing you the output. So here there is nothing like I need to go with that. So that's why I've taken it as switch case statement. That's it. So with respect to the switch case, this is how it will be designed. Case A means you need to print the message as or print it in a separate dialog box saying that it is excellent. Otherwise, if it is B, very good. If it is C, good. If it is D, above average, that's what you are getting it. E, satisfied. That's all. So the last one is you need to print that particular message along with the grade. You have uh, congratulated that particular person with respect to the percentage. Next thing is your aim is to get percentage as the input, grade as the output, right? Based on that, several messages you need to just go with it. So that's all with respect to this particular. This is a simple program. I'll execute it. I told you at the beginning there is a fault existing in this particular program. Fault existing with respect to your program. So just check it out. So you need to run always the HTML file rather than running your JS file. .js is just a JavaScript file. So if you want to execute that in your browser, then you need to take help of your HTML file. I need to run the HTML file here. Anudeep has raised a hand. Okay, Anudeep. Anudeep, are you there? Yes, Anudeep, I'm just unmuting you. If you have any queries, you can ask. Anudeep, hello?
No, sir, it's by mistake.
It's by mistake. Okay, okay, fine. Yeah, we are just going with entering the percentage, right? So 90%, if I just click on this, it should display the message as excellent. That is what we have given it. So if you just click on OK, the percentage is 90 and the grade is A. We got the answer. Fine. Just click on OK, no problem. I will be just uh, refreshing that particular, reloading that particular page now. With respect to your refreshing of the page, once again, it will be freshly opened, right? So now, with respect to this is what we call it as from the last node, if you have an edge from to your first node. That means I'm reloading the page once again. Understanding it? That's what it says. So now, with respect to this, I'll just go with 90 is over. Now I'll just go with 80.8. It should be in the second range, right? Second grade, grade B. Grade B with respect to that, very good. So it is coming. Similarly, now it goes on, right? I'll just give you one more particular scenario over here while executing. If I give more than 100%, what happens? Suppose 200. Percentage value is 200. 200.5 you can give, yes, you can give it. 5.2 you can give it, yes, you can give it. Now, tell me one thing, can we have a percentage value more than 100 anywhere it has been given? I'm not talking about the marks, I'm talking about the percentage. Okay, is the screen visible to all of you? The browser screen? Hello? Yes, okay. So you saw the output, right? So I have given the value as 200, but still it is saying that it is excellent. Can we have that? Such a type of input? No. Vaishnavi is saying no. But still it is executing, right? We have not handled it. That is where your fault-based testing comes into picture. With respect to all the particular scenarios, if you take it, then it will be coming to picture. What is a small change that we can make it right now? And one more thing is that, so if we give the negative values also, it will be taking the answer. It will be giving you the answer. See, for example, minus 20.48, if you just give it, giving satisfactory. So you need to restrict your code to accept the values from 0 to 100. How to make that? So negative percentage, can it be possible? That's what I'm just asking you. So whatever the program that has been given, you don't blindly copy it. Try to get the knowledge of that particular program, what for it is used, what for it is designed. Based on that, our particular thing is we need to identify the errors, rectify it, and redesign the entire code. That is where your software testing part comes into picture. So that's why I just allowed it to execute as it is. Okay. So most of your seniors have also copied the same program. They have executed in the similar fashion. If I ask a simple change to make with respect to this, they fail to do it. I don't know exactly why, but they fail to do it. I don't want the same thing to be repeated with you also. It may be, I may be the examiner or someone else may be the examiner, but still, if they ask, you should be in a position to at least change and get any one of the answer at least. Whatever the changes that they have asked, in that one change, if you just can make it and if you can show them the output, that is very much satisfying. Understanding it. So in order to get excellent, you need to execute all the particular cases. But if you just satisfy one particular condition, if you fulfill it, then it's okay, no problem. You just you have done your job. Understanding it. So keeping these particular points in my mind, what I'll do is I'll just go with the see is my Notepad++ screen is visible to all of you. Yes? Is it visible? Notepad++ screen? Yes. At least this is one advantage that we have, which we were not having in Zoom. Zoom always we need to say that share the screen, share the screen. So it will be automatically shared with respect to one application to navigate to another one. That's a very simple, very important. Here, what you need to say is you need to restrict your particular thing, or else say that you can have one more particular if statement here. Percentage should be greater than or equal to 0. Ampersand, ampersand, percentage value should be less than or equal to. I can write it over here. So if I write it over here, then only these statements will be. This is entire thing will come under with respect to one if statement. Else, else, it should display something, right? So for that, you can have alert message. Percentage value should be in the range of 0 to 100. That's it. After doing this, you need to exit from the entire code. So for that, you can just go with exit 0. Is that clear? It's a simple thing that I have just changed. So once again, I'll just go back to the application where our browser was loading this particular page. Loaded. Now, we just say -0. Sorry, -0 cannot happen. -1 if I say it. Okay. So if I reload this, if it is 200, so now it is somewhere around 20. 20 is coming under below this particular 60%, right? Below 60%, it should be satisfactory. That's what they are saying. Yeah, somebody has unmuted themselves. You can mute. That's okay. Otherwise, I'll mute you. Yeah. Any doubt? Any doubt now? Now, our task is not to run this program and check it out, how it functions. Our task is to identify the node numbers. With respect to that, I need to apply the path testing principle. How to apply this? For this, how to apply the path testing? Very, very important. For that, just annotate and try to get you the answer. So how many nodes are there? All the particular nodes, we have a line number available. you can have all the particular line number nodes, no problem at all, or else you can skip it, as we have seen it with respect to our previous example. What are all the steps that we need to go through it? First step, that is that to identify or to solve your particular program in path testing is you need to identify the nodes. With respect to the nodes, you need to draw the program graph. Now I need to draw the program graph for the entire particular code. So how many nodes are there? 1, 2, 3, followed by fourth node. Fourth node is at, what did I say? Fourth node. Fourth node is, what is fourth node actually? It is a predicate node. So it is a predicate node means you will be having 2 outcomes. So with respect to this, how it will be just proved. So the next one is if else statement is there. If this one, similarly your particular program will be. So I'll just share this particular program now. Anyway, we are just running out of time. So you also have 12:30 class, right? So we'll just, what I'll do is I'll just give you this particular program. Try to write the program graph. Try to write the program graph for this particular program and be ready with it by 3 o'clock. We'll just meet. Not at 2:30. We'll meet at 3 o'clock. Okay. So you finish off this class. So after that, we'll just try to analyze how to write this particular program graph. So if possible, you just try to write it. Otherwise, I'll help you out in that particular class. Okay. So you got an idea, right? How this particular program works now. So now the challenge is to test it with respect to your path testing. So that one we'll just take it up. Take it in our next particular session, lab session. Okay. So fine. Thank you. With this, I'll just stop the meeting now.